Surviving World War II wasn't about luck. Soldiers faced freezing winters, scorching deserts, dense forests, and enemy lines that could appear out of nowhere. The difference between life and death often came down to skills so vital that commanders explicitly ordered troops to keep them secret. These weren't just battlefield tactics, they were survival strategies honed through experience and desperation. Today, we're diving deep into 10 of these techniques, explaining how they worked, why they were so effective, and how you can understand and even apply them today, whether for historical study or practical survival preparation. Stick with me, because the knowledge these soldiers carried could teach you more about resourcefulness than any modern manual. The first trick is about creating fire under impossible conditions. In the frozen fields of the Eastern Front, matches often failed, and wood was wet or scarce. Soldiers were taught to create improvised fire starters from strips of cloth soaked in oil or fat. They would ignite these to get a small controlled flame that could be built into a larger fire. Today, this teaches an essential survival lesson: never rely on a single ignition source. Learning to prepare alternative fire starters, from cotton balls with petroleum jelly to natural resins from trees, gives you redundancy when every second counts. Next is gathering water from unconventional sources. Troops learn to extract moisture from snow, dew, and even underground roots. In Europe, soldiers would tie cloths around their boots at night, letting dew condense for drinking water by morning. For modern preppers, this method underscores the importance of observing your environment. Simple steps like collecting rainwater with tarps, extracting moisture from plants, or using condensation traps can turn barren landscapes into reliable water sources. Another crucial survival skill was improvised shelter building. Soldiers often had to create safe, insulated spaces using only natural materials or remnants of urban ruins. In practice, they would build frames from branches, cover them with mud or fabric scraps, and add insulation with leaves or straw. You can apply this today by practicing quick shelter construction during camping trips. Knowing how to create a protective structure in minutes teaches not just survival, but spatial awareness and resource management. Staying hidden in plain sight was a skill so critical it was repeatedly drilled into soldiers. Camouflage extended beyond uniforms. It included breaking up body outlines, smearing mud, and using surrounding debris to obscure movement. Modern survival enthusiasts can adopt this principle when moving through open terrain, whether for wildlife observation or emergency situations. Layering textures, matching colours to your environment, and understanding light and shadow can be the difference between detection and safety. A technique often overlooked is signalling without electronics. Soldiers used reflective surfaces, patterned arrangements of rocks, and even tapping codes on walls to communicate over distance. The lesson here is adaptability. In situations without phones or radios, being able to send discrete signals or establish non-verbal communication channels is invaluable. Practicing basic reflective signaling or Morse code can turn a seemingly powerless scenario into one where you maintain control and connection. Food was always scarce, making traps and snares for small game essential. Soldiers would construct simple loops from wire or cord, strategically placed along known animal paths. For modern preppers, understanding these methods is more than historical curiosity. It's a practical skill that teaches patience, observation, and the effective use of limited resources. Practicing not techniques or simple trap setups in a controlled environment builds muscle memory that could prove useful in emergencies. Preserving body heat in extreme cold was a constant challenge. Soldiers learned to layer clothing intelligently, stuff extra insulation into uniforms, and, maintain dry clothing at all costs. Moisture was the enemy. Applying this knowledge today goes beyond winter camping. It's about layering strategically, keeping clothing dry, and recognizing that body heat retention is both a science and an art. Small adjustments like using newspaper or natural fibers for insulation can dramatically increase survival time in cold conditions. Soldiers were trained in resource improvisation from abandoned supplies. They could turn enemy rations into fire starters, use crates for shelter, or repurpose broken gear. This teaches the principle of adaptability. Survival is not about what you bring, but how you use what's available. Developing the habit of seeing potential in discarded items sharpens creativity and problem-solving under pressure. Navigation without instruments was another life-or-death skill. Troops would rely on the sun, stars, and natural landmarks to move across unfamiliar territory. Modern enthusiasts can apply this by learning celestial navigation basics and reading terrain features, ensuring that even without GPS, you can orient yourself reliably. Simple exercises like tracking the sun's position or identifying moss growth patterns can provide immediate and practical survival skills. Finally, mental resilience and situational awareness was drilled as rigorously as any physical skill. Soldiers who could stay calm under fire, assess threats accurately, and make decisions with limited information survived at much higher rates. For anyone interested in survival today, this principle is equally important. Mental preparation, scenario training, and cultivating a calm, observant mindset can be as life-saving as any tool or skill. These 10 WWII survival tricks weren't just clever, they were essential. They remind us that survival is rarely about luck. It's about knowledge, adaptability, and resourcefulness. From fire and water to shelter, camouflage, and mental resilience, each technique carries lessons that are both historically fascinating and practically useful today. If this guide gave you new insights into how WWII soldiers survived under extreme conditions and how you can apply these lessons in modern prepping or historical exploration, subscribe to The Prepper Historian. Share this video with fellow history enthusiasts and survivalists so we can continue uncovering the secrets that kept men alive against impossible odds.